Okay, first Real You Adventures YouTube journey. Hiking through the woods here near Hag Lake. Seeing how it goes. So I'm just walking and talking. Testing this out. So yeah, Real You Adventures. The idea is the adventure of experiencing your true self, your authentic self, finding out what that is underneath all the layers of who we think we are, but actually are not, or who the world has told us to be. But there could be something way more interesting and profound underneath all those layers. So I like to experience that type of adventure in an outdoor setting with myself or with other people. I really enjoy creating an environment or an atmosphere where people feel safe to go on that journey, where we can let our guard down and really see what's going on underneath the surface. And I think when we can experience a space like that, it's a real treasure and a real joy to have that happen. It's not easy because we do put up guards. Probably have a guard up right now, even just doing this video for the first time. What are people going to think of me? It might be my authentic self, all those questions, all that self-doubt, all the self-sabotage we do. And but it's like, yeah, well, but those are honest thoughts. So this is really me just putting myself out there. And sure as even I'm walking and talking, I'll break through those layers and be able to express myself more authentically. But yeah, the ego is fragile. The ego is a funny thing. Like, I've been learning to, it's gonna sound weird, but to befriend my ego instead of resist it or push it away, but realize that it's just something that we have and use to protect ourselves, which can be necessary at times. But I think it's something to disassociate from and see it as a tool, something we can play with, wear as a costume if needed, but it's not who we actually are. I think it's healthy to not identify ourselves with our ego, but see it as a costume or a tool, like I said, and then it loses its power, and also it loses its power in other people. And if you can kind of play with your ego, and then other people are like, oh, he's just playing with his ego, that's not who he really is. It kind of helps them disassociate from their ego, and then you can start to see who you really are and who they really are, and then it can be fun. Instead of trying to prove ourselves, ego likes to prove itself, right? But you can just be like, thank you, ego. I don't need you right now. We are safe. Everything's fine. You can kind of just chill out. Yeah, so. But especially right now in this time of the world, we are definitely thinking about surviving in different ways. I mean, obviously, we're all on different ends of a spectrum and going about this in different ways. And I think Maslow's hierarchy of needs are are important to think about right now. Basic needs. Are my basic needs met? Okay, are they good? Now, how can I help others get their basic needs met? Food, water, shelter, love, connection, family connection, that kind of love, connection. It's interesting too, like how much more I've been calling family, checking in with family. It's like a reality check of what's important with priorities. I think that's helped me out. It's like, wow, I should have been calling my family more. Just what's really valuable in one's heart and soul comes up in times like these. And yeah, so when speaking of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I guess apparently before he died, he went back and changed the triangle. At the top was self-actualization, but he put another one above that called transcendence. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And I think maybe it's about transcending self. So maybe you like self-actualize, but the real aim is to be beyond self, where it's the we before me kind of space. You kind of forget oneself. You're not self-conscious, you're more group conscious, other conscious, kind of seeing yourself as, yeah, a piece in the part of everything, but you're not the piece, you're just a piece, and everyone together is a collective kind of amazing mosaic that when you can see it for that, you have more value in others' place in the mosaic, and then as well as your own value. And it's not a better than or less than kind of thing. It's just like, man, here's my beautiful spot in it, and there's that other person's beautiful spot in it, and that tree's spot. And I think you just have, at least for me, much more appreciation for everything, everyone. But yeah, we can easily forget that when we're in survival mode or reactivity. And I think it's a good time to lean into creativity instead of reactivity. And if you change the letter from reactive, if you take the C from reactive and move it to the front of the word, it spells creative. It's kind of a neat little thought exercise. It's been something I've been trying to focus on. It's like leaning into creativity over reactivity. And I'll notice like, whoa, I'm being reactive right now. And forgive myself for that and just kind of be like, okay, pause. How can I be creative now? Yeah, but this is just my journey. I know everybody's on their journey, so I have no judgment or no like, you should be thinking this way or doing this. It's like each to their own. Just talking about kind of my process here. But anyway, Really Adventures is something that this nonprofit I started years ago, back in 2011. And I got into a few programs, which was pretty great. Brought people together to go on a real you adventure where we could bring our guard down and really see each other for who we were. It was, I mean, amazing experience. Those moments are treasures forever for sure. But now I want to get back into that. And I've been doing that kind of work with other companies as well, but I think I just want to do more. Keep working with other companies doing that, but keep just creating opportunities where I can create space for people to feel safe in themselves. So I'm thinking of putting this YouTube channel together to kind of expose and express the real you adventure, and just have myself start to think along those lines again, like who am I really, and how do I share that and express that, and then invite others to do the same, either just on their own, on a walk in the wilderness like this, or create some more events, retreats. I think, again, this experience now is like really